Let's talk about that a little more, because if they were to go ahead with this case, they have to go through the same processes in administration of justice.
Yes.
Is that any better?
Better in what sense?
In terms of all the processes they have to go through. Remember the former chairman was saying, look, some of the cases that even were on the table, many of them, before you take a plea, it takes you a long time.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, there is because you see, that is part of corruption. Corruption is a system. Corruption also fights back. Don't make any mistake about it. It fights back with many weapons. In some cases, corrupt people may try to assassinate those who are trying to fight them physically. But if that is impossible, it can even also compromise the system. And when you are talking about corruption, don't make any mistake about it. There are lawyers who are corrupt. There are judges who are corrupt. And so they get lawyers who also would see things from that perspective, to file all sorts of frivolous applications, to delay trial. And this also leads to frustrating groups like, institutions like EFCC. So I have no doubt about it that if you are talking about fighting the judges, you need to really do extra homework. You must have your evidence, and you must be ready to prosecute. Because you see, really, it is a very shameful thing. I mean, I have no problem with a 419 person who is arrested and who has no scruples about, the kind of crimes he or she commits. But when you now pretend to be dispensing justice, you are sitting on that hallowed bench, desecrating, polluting justice, then of course you are worse than an armed robber. And that is why we want to encourage the EFCC. We want to also encourage this government to support the EFCC to ensure that if it is true that this yet unnamed 5 judges actually corrupted themselves, they must be given maximum punishment, so that we can take our children on excursion to the prison they are serving and say, look, this is a bad example. Never be like this kind of person. And once that is done, once we can secure even one conviction of a former judge, I tell you, the other judges will sit right. They will do what is right.
Did the judiciary really need an external intervention? Some people have said that the judiciary is capable of self-cleansing itself. Wouldn't it have been able to do this otherwise?
No, that would not be correct. It would not be correct for a number of reasons. One, there is a body, or there are bodies, law enforcement bodies, like police, EFCC, ICPC, that are set up to actually deal with this kind of situation. Now, if they have evidence that a judge has corrupted himself or herself and they refuse to act, then of course that will be dereliction of duty. Now, that is number one. Number two also is the fact that the NJC, the National Judicial Council, which is the body that people probably have in mind when they say the judiciary is capable of internal self-cleansing, does not have the capacity, does not have the wherewithal to get information that EFCC and ICPC would ordinarily get. For example, under our law, if you are making certain transactions above certain limits, there is a way this thing alerts them in the EFCC. But there's no way NJC would know that a judge in maybe my village has just got an alert of 500 million naira. Maybe he or she was sitting on an election petition, but EFCC knows that. So if EFCC gets such an alert, there is no reason why it should not go and ask that our landed justice, Mr. George or Mrs. George, what work did you do that you just got 500 million naira?
Because what we read is mind-boggling, is worrisome to the extent we still have to go back and talk about the issue of money. I'm quite sure you must have also seen it. They say now the FCC is also going abroad because most of these deals, dirty deals, are done outside the country, that they go out outside the country, so you don't get to see them. Money's exchanged hands, and they put those hard currencies in their bank accounts and come back home pretty well. Lifestyles of judges now comes to fore. What has it been like compared to what it was before?
Yes, I tell you, that's a very good point, because if you look at the EFCC Act, the EFCC also has the power, if it suspects that your lifestyle is not justified by your means, to investigate and prosecute if it obtains evidence that can sufficiently prove that you've been corrupting yourself. So I think that the EFCC will be doing us a word of good to actually do that and carry it through, because the mentality of Nigerian elite, as somebody argued recently in a newspaper article, is that when they go to places like Dubai and they see very beautiful malls. Rather than come back here and use the resources of the state to build a similar thing, they would rather steal money to go and shop in those places. When they go to Germany and see very good road, rather than try to come and use the resources of the country to build good roads, to develop our Lagos Ibadan Express or another roads or express road or not to express road, they would rather go and steal money to go and build houses in those places. So I tell you, they need to go. In fact, I will be advising the EFCC, if they have the means, to go and set up offices in those major capital cities of the world if they have the resources, so that they can be following these our people. You see, that is work of intelligence. If you see a judge whose lifestyle is not justified by the salary or entitlements that he or she gets, you should actually follow them when they are going on vacation. Get an agent to book the same flight with that person, check in the same hotel with that person, look at the kind of people who come to visit them, and then all of those people, if they come back to Nigeria, round them up, because these people are destroying our country. People can't even send their children to public schools again. People can't go to the hospitals. Yet they go when they have ordinary headache, common cold, they fly to all sorts of places to go and treat themselves. So we must support EFCC. We must encourage EFCC. We must do everything possible as Nigerians. And journalists also, you must stop celebrating these criminals. I'm sorry to say that. And that is why we must not allow this matter to just die this. Because, this way, our attention span is very limited in Nigeria. Now, after this week...
Sorry, how true is that journalists celebrate criminals?
No, I tell you, I see papers, I open... I'm saying, you are my friends. I must tell you the truth. Without journalists in Nigeria, maybe we will not have democracy today. No doubt about that. I'm not going to denigrate your contribution, particularly when you look at the recent role you played in the abortion time, or even under anti-colonial struggle. But now we must say also this generation is also creeping into journalism. You open this paper today, the people that will celebrate, I was reading, look at this national honor something, all the paper, because they need money from the advertisement.
I think those are advertorials. They're paid.
No, but you see, we must have values in this country. If I am an editor of a newspaper, I know you will tell me the exigency of running a media organization will not
That's
probably
right.
allow. What you see, you must.
It's like taking a brief from a client.
Yeah, of course, I won't go and meet a dog person and say I want to do brief because it's going to pay me billions. There must be principles. There must be values. This is what has led us to where we are today. So we must, because there is what is called self-fulfilling prophecies. If I begin to advertise a particular criminal on my front page every day, it becomes popular anyway. And the people then begin to feel, we can't do anything about this man. He's a political leader because he's so awesome, so powerful.
No,
but
it shows them up for EFCC to go and investigate.
Is it what?
It shows them up for EFCC to go and investigate.
No, it can also be counterproductive, because if you are doing it in a way that EFCC will say, okay, this man is so powerful, the man is everywhere, what can we do about this person? So I think this is a very serious discussion. I think we need, as a people, to just sit down. God has blessed Nigeria with enormous resources, but some vermins, I use that language with the greatest respect, have decided to sit atop these resources, feed fat on these resources, destroy our country. And then our people now, Nigeria, as I said to some people, at this moment, is a very uninspiring country, very tiring, and our leaders, they don't even know the way to go. But we must untiringly continue to insist that the right things be done.